Welcome to Celestial Insights, a weekly podcast that brings the stars down to earth. I'm your host, astrologer, coach, and intuitive Celeste Brooks. My purpose is to provide practical, unique, and insightful guidance to help you navigate the energies of the week like a boss. Hello, this is Celeste of Astrology by Celeste, and on this episode, I will discuss the astrology for the week of November 16th, 2025. The 2026 Predictions webinar with myself, Sarah El Harar, and Tiffany Harelik was a huge success. People loved it. I loved it, hearing their thoughts about what's coming up next year, and I feel more ready to face it. If you didn't get a chance to join us live, you can still get the recording. There's a link in the show notes. It's only $33, and it's packed with information about the astrology of next year. It's a 2.5-hour workshop worth every penny. Order it today. The link is in the show notes. The 2026 Lunar Planning Guide is a digital, fillable guide that walks you through each moon cycle with themes, major transits, and journal prompts so that you can stay aligned with the energy. And beyond the moon, it includes all the key astrology for the year, the retrograde, sign changes, and major planetary events that shape the collective story. If you're looking for a clear, practical way to stay organized and grounded, this will help you track your intentions and make sense of the shifting energies in 2026. It's only $22, and the link is in the show notes. The theme of this week is Apocalypse Now, and there are three big things I want you to think about as you navigate this week. The first is that Mercury, which is retrograde, will re-enter Scorpio at the 29th degree and will stay in this sign from November 18th through December 11th. Scorpio is deep waters. The sign rules debt, taxes, shared resources. Things take on a life and death nature, power and control, hidden systems, corruption, and the taboo. Mercury rules thought processes, communication, commerce, and transportation. So there will be discussions around sex trafficking and transportation. This week, there is going to be a vote about releasing the Epstein files. The opposition to Uranus brings communication, reporting, and themes that include shocks, reversals, sudden twists, and destabilizing truth. Today, there was a report from the Telegraph that shocked the system, where amateur snipers paid the modern-day equivalent of about £100,000, and these are people from Italy, to take part in sport killings of people in Sarajevo during the war that took place during the 90s. These were wealthy foreigners who went to this country for this purpose. They are being investigated and trying to identify the actual people, so maybe some of them will be unearthed during this time. Also, recently, basketball and baseball gaming has come up, where there have been stories of gambling and corruption related to sports players letting people know inside information so that they could make money. The United States is potentially on the verge of attacking Venezuela, and this could potentially be coordinated with the release of the Epstein files as a distraction Let's hope that's not going to happen, but it is quite possible. Stay tuned for shocks and awe in your own life. Uranus is the great awakener. You may get some insight about taxes, debt, or shared resources, realizing maybe something you'd rather not know about yourself, or shadows, realizing how you can be a little manipulative at times to get what you want. There's also themes of sexuality with Scorpio. This can be some very, very sexy energy where your boo texts you something that's salacious and exciting. Someone could find out they're inheriting a bunch of money from Aunt Mary. Pay attention to what is unearthed, what comes to your conscious attention of the nature of Scorpio and Taurus. This axis is the axis of pleasure, power, and resources. The title Apocalypse Now, from the movie by Francis Ford Coppola, a remake of a novella by Joseph Conrad called The Heart of Darkness. It's from the 1800s. It's about Charles Marlowe, a sailor who takes a job as a steamboat captain for a Belgian ivory trading company in the Congo. And as he's journeying deeper into the jungle, he becomes obsessed with Kurt, who's an enigmatic and powerful ivory trader who's embraced the chaos of the jungle. They finally meet at the end when Kurtz is gravely ill and near death. Kurtz has become a mythical figure worshipped by the locals, completely corrupted by power and madness. He's surrounded by his darkest instincts and engages in brutal, savage acts. He has been compared to Donald Trump with the ability to sway the masses. The character, I love Napalm in the Morning from the film Apocalypse Now, which takes place and moves it to Vietnam during the Vietnam War. It's an Oscar-winning picture. So whatever happens this week, it has the intensity of this story with Mercury in Scorpio opposite Uranus and Taurus. The next thing I want to make you aware of is that we have a new moon at 28 Scorpio on Wednesday. Mercury is just separating from its opposition to Uranus when the new moon happens. This is a tower moment where truth shocks. People are going to be having insights pretty quickly at this new moon. The Sabian symbol is an Indian woman pleading with the chief for the lives of her children, which is so on the nose. Usha Vance is the vice president's wife. Her moon is at 28 degrees of Scorpio. This new moon is right on her moon. She has a personal story. Uranus is opposite her moon. There is a lot of talk that her and the vice president, their marriage is really on the rocks. It may not last. And after an event for Turning Point USA, where Charlie Cook's widow ran her fingers through J.D. Vance's hair, there's thoughts that this woman is going to be her replacement. Because how can you be the leader of MAGA when you have a brown wife? If there's an announcement about their marriage, that would be somewhat apocalyptic, to have the vice president getting divorced while in office. This new moon is exactly conjunct to Mercury. The sun, the moon, and Mercury are all at 28 degrees. So there's themes of the leader, who's the sun, the people, the moon, and Mercury, the communication, reporters, educators are mercurial. People who transport things are mercurial. There's something seated right at this full moon, or seated in the dark of the moon during the balsamic phase right before the new moon. which is volatile, truth-telling, disruptive, pressure-filled, transformational. This is explosive revelations energy, where what someone tried to bury refused to stay hidden. Mercury is retrograde. It may be coming from the past, which makes total sense if this is when the vote goes through to release the Epstein files. There could be information about other Scorpio themes like corruption, bribery. Jeffrey Epstein's money transfers could be coming up. He's got billions of dollars that have been secretly moved around. So that could be some of the news that comes up. The MAGA civil war could get even more heat. Different factions, pro-Israel and anti-Israel factions, and there's a schism really coming between them. This new moon is a great time to set intentions on Scorpio topics. Do you want to pay down debt? Do you want to grow wealth? Do you want to merge with someone? Do you want to get therapy? Explore your shadows. Do you need to do your will or your directive in case you become sick or anything happens? These are some of the things that you might want to be doing. Do you want to have more sexy time? If you're single, are you going to get out there and mingle? What is your strategy to achieve whatever goals that you want at this time? It's a great time to finish up anything that you have already started and needs completion or revision. As with every new moon, a moon phase family is initiated with this new moon, where something may be seeded that could have an unfolding story that lasts over 27 months. So there's a new moon at 28 degrees where the sun and the moon are both in the sign of Scorpio on November 19th, 2025. 9 months from now, there may be a pivot point where something occurs that's related to what was seeded now. You can give a week or two on either side. At this point, the sun will be in Leo and the moon will be in Scorpio, both at 17 degrees on August 19th, 2026. 9 months after that, there will be a full moon where all may be illuminated with the sun in Taurus, the moon in Scorpio, both at 29 degrees on May 20th, 2027. So if you started some new business right around now, by then you'll be looking about your resources, how much money you're making, how your values have been adjusted. 9 months after that, there's the sun in Aquarius, the moon in Scorpio, both at 28 degrees on February 17th of 2028. So this is a really long cycle that's great for setting intentions to longer term goals and seeing how things unfold. The moon is very tight, 27, 28, and 29. So if you have any planets or important points right around this degree, you may notice a story. The last thing I want to make you aware of is that Sagittarius season begins on Friday, November 21st through December 21st. This sign is expansive, optimistic in the pursuit of the truth. It's mutable fire. The glyph looks like half man, half horse with a bow and arrow looking towards the future. It's exploration, travel, education, philosophy, and spiritual examinations. It zooms out of the intensity of Scorpio into big picture thinking. It's bold. People may be seeking meaning, connecting dots about what came before. Going from Scorpio to Sagittarius is like moving from the cave to the mountaintop. From excavation to revelation, the secrets become new truths. From shadow work to building a new worldview. There can be moral and ethical debates heating up, the quest for freedom and justice. This may be the day after there's some big conversation about the Epstein files. This feels like the sun figure comes out and is demanding truth and justice. So really notice what catches your eye on this day. Jupiter rules Sagittarius. It's exalted in Cancer right now. It's retrograde and trine Saturn and Neptune. So that puts a little damper on the energy. Jupiter trine Saturn, there's real flow between them, but Saturn limits Jupiter's excesses, so it can be great for putting some limits on excess. Now, people may, with this energy, be going a little wild and being a little lawless. You may notice sideshows where people are driving, drag racing, that sort of thing. So just be aware that that's one of the shadows. So is overindulgence, like in food or substances. But this energy can be very joyful, philosophical. I hope you enjoy the next month and feel some of the lightness of being. But we may be seeing something on fire, either metaphorically or literally, when the sun moves from 29 Scorpio, a degree of crisis and decay, into 0 Sagittarius. What torch do you want to light in your own life? One of my greatest joys is helping people understand themselves more fully. If you're wanting to make sense of your past, recognize the patterns that have shaped you, or get clearer about the path ahead, astrology can offer real insight. In our sessions, we'll use your natal chart as a map. You don't need to know any astrology at all. You can book a single session for clarity or choose a cosmic coaching package if you'd like ongoing support as you grow and plan for the future. Book your sessions at astrologybyceleste.com on the services page. On Sunday, the word of the day is scout. We enter this week with the moon in Libra, which seeks balance. Cave-like energy underneath these things. The calm balm of Libra. The sun is in Scorpio, trine Jupiter retrograde at 25 degrees. So there's some spotlight focusing some revelations on potentially a religious figure, a celebrity. These are Jupiterian people. It could be royalty in some way. I got Buffalo Bill from Silence of the Lambs. Like, he's down there in that cavernous, dank basement, and he has those special glasses that come on and shines a light on the darkness, and sees Clarice, who's a law enforcement person. So Jupiter has associations with law and ethics. And he can see her, but she can't see him. There's something about scouting a dark place. On Monday, the word of the day is separation. The Libra moon opposes Chiron retrograde in Aries. Libra rules partnerships of all kinds. And I got a divorce with this, so maybe we'll hear some news about a famous couple or a company breaking up, or some kind of separation is likely because there's opposition energy with the moon opposite Chiron. The Scorpio sun is trine Saturn retrograde in Pisces on this day, both at 25 degrees. So there's this grand trine in water with the sun in Scorpio, Jupiter in Cancer, Saturn in Pisces, all at 25 degrees. This could be like a whirlpool of emotions that are expansive. Jupiter expands everything. If someone you know is, or yourself is feeling depressed, pay attention, because this can be where someone just feels really lost in emotion and may need some help. The moon in Libra squares Jupiter retrograde at 25 degrees. This can be someone who cares about you giving you a call to make sure that you are okay, or someone calling a doctor or a therapist if they need help. Mercury retrograde in Sagittarius still is trine Pluto in Aquarius at 1 degree, or both of them are. So this can be people facing a lot of upheaval or reporting about upheaval that people have faced. Maybe with Mercury and Sagittarius, it could be stories about people who battled wildfires and how it devastated their community. The moon will move into Scorpio at 1:44 p.m. Pacific time. So we go from feeling balanced, maybe feeling a little witty repartee, lighthearted with Libra, where something's going on, where there's a bit of crisis in a one-on-one relationship, and then the moon moves into Scorpio. And now we're having a deep conversation about something really important that really matters. And the moon squares Pluto at 1 degree. So people are going to be facing life and death situations. Potentially, we'll be reading about a storm somewhere. On Tuesday, the word of the day is bombshell. There are a bunch of sesqui-squares between Mars and Sag and Jupiter and Cancer. Mars has associations with explosions. Venus in Scorpio is sesqui-square Neptune and Pisces. This can be a secret group that comes together. Venus and Scorpio, it can be about money. It can be about sex, that there's something secretive or deceptive about it. Notice if you hear about people who are out to deceive people and steal their money. And the Scorpio moon is square Saturn, then Neptune and Pisces. There is underlying tension in the air that's combative Mars, that's expansive Jupiter, that involves people connected in some kind of enmeshment Scorpio. There's deception and bondage potentially with Saturn and Neptune and Pisces. And then Mercury reenters Scorpio at the 29th degree of crisis and decay. What is being talked about? And then the Scorpio moon meets Venus at 15 degrees of Scorpio on a world point. The moon is in fall in Scorpio. It does not like to be there. It's like at the bottom of a well. And Venus is in detriment on this sign. There is a lot of intensity that a group of people are talking about, whether they're facing it now or facing it in the past. It could be Epstein victims talking about what they went through to Congress. On Wednesday, the word of the day is distress. Venus is at 15 Scorpio, trine the North Node in Pisces. This is a group of people, potentially women, talking about sexuality, bribery, trafficking, tough things where people have a lack of power. So there can be something about people being mistreated. This is energy of the sirens. In the Odyssey, the sirens, sailors wanted to hear their beautiful music and would sail into the rocks. Odysseus wanted to hear their beautiful song. So he had the people on the boat strap him to the boat so he couldn't get away, but he could hear their music. This is the day Mercury in Scorpio is opposite Uranus and Taurus, both at 29 degrees. what comes to your conscious attention, what shocks and awe are going on. Transportation can be impacted, so drive carefully, bike carefully, pay attention. People are distracted. It takes a couple of days to get used to new energy, so that movement from Sag to Scorpio can be like a good time turns into a power struggle. The new moon is at 10:46 p.m. at 28 degrees of Scorpio, a great time to set intentions for exploring your shadows, dealing with some themes that can be a little difficult. Betrayal can be a theme, as well as life and death situations. A great time to work on something like your will and where you want your things to go. The moon will meet Mercury on this day. What are the moon, the people being told about secrets? On Thursday, the word of the day is lifeguard. Mercury Cazimi is on this day at 28 degrees Scorpio at 1:22 a.m. Pacific time. Cazimi is when a planet meets the sun and there's life, death, and rebirth. As a planet goes into the heart of the sun, the old story is burned off and it emerges on the other side purified. This is purification by fire. It's a beautiful time to do a cord cutting. If there's something you're obsessed with that you just can't let go of, this is great time for doing some kind of cord cutting. There's a high risk of drowning right around this time. Do not leave kids or pets near water unattended. There's also imagery of being able to ask the king for a favor, asking someone what you want. It'll be interesting to see what comes up in terms of, did anyone make any deals to vote no on the Epstein file issue? This 28 Scorpio, Mercury Cazimi, is squaring the president's ascendant. He has ascendant as his ascendant is at 29 degrees of Leo. Makes perfect sense about him on the day, or making a decision for something to distract from these files. The moon enters Sagittarius at 2:25 a.m. Pacific time. It's fiery. It's feisty. There's a lot of movement. It's a great time to get some exercise. And on this day, Uranus and Taurus sextiles Neptune in Pisces. They're both at 29 degrees of crisis and decay. This is about shocking news about big money, Taurus, that is revealed. Neptune and Pisces, the deception is being washed away. It also could be literally some kind of natural disaster where there's an earthquake and on an island of some sort. It could be the attack on Venezuela. We will see what happens. Something totally that we're not even on our radar. Uranus surprises. On Friday, the word of the day is tsunami. The energy on this day is incredible. With that Uranus sextile Neptune, there's this emotional tsunami that some people are going through. It really impacts the United States because the moon and Mars meet at 12 degrees of Sagittarius on the ascendant of the United States. So there's something about our image, our experience that is explosive, is shocking. This could be a huge thing coming out about the Epstein file. We find out someone, an athlete or someone, marshal, someone in the military. Big news about that. There could be big stuff going on with these ice raids where there's a big clash. The Scorpio sun is opposite Uranus at 29 degrees and then trine Neptune. So it's about a leader. This is a big shock to the system. It also can be Health shocks. Someone's at a doctor and they find out they are cured from cancer or they have some kind of illness. Moon Mars could be something about the breast. Great time to do a breast exam. Then Sagittarius season begins at 5:35 p.m. Pacific time. So you're excited. You're making a joyful noise. This can also be really celebratory. Tsunami of emotion. People may be acting reckless. On Saturday, the word of the day is gibberish. I got the image of someone who's had a stroke or something trying to talk, and they're not making any sense. With Mercury retrograde in Scorpio, trine Saturn retrograde in Pisces, both at 25 degrees. Water signs, think about Mercury trying to communicate while you're underwater. It cannot be understood. And then with the trine to Saturn, like that can become the problem, speaking problem can be due to weakness. So this is definitely energy where people may be having sudden health issues. This is a sign if someone's talking gibberish, get them straight to the doctor. The moon enters Capricorn at 2:52 p.m. Pacific time. Things get serious. The moon doesn't like to be in Capricorn. It's the sign of its detriment. Capricorn rules governments, big business. There could be big news about these things. There could be some economists talking about some financial upset. Then Mercury's trine Jupiter retrograde at 24 degrees. Someone's demanding the truth. The truth must be told. So this week is action-packed. It's exciting. Revelations, secrets of all kinds about taboo subjects, power dynamics. It's a lot. Hold on to your hat. That's it for this week's episode. Feel free to email me at celeste@astrologybyceleste.com with any astrology and action stories, or let me know how the daily themes are playing out for you. Take care, and I'll catch you next week. Thank you for listening to Celestial Insights. To learn more about my work, please visit my website, astrologybyceleste.com, where I offer personal readings, horary consultations, cosmic coaching, group events, and classes to help guide people to higher levels of fulfillment. You can also find me on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and Facebook at Astrology by Celeste. If you enjoyed Celestial Insights, please help others find the show. Follow, rate it 5 stars, or write a nice review. I would so appreciate it. I'm astrologer, coach, and intuitive Celeste Brooks, and I'll be back next week.